G'day, how you going? Ian Atlas here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my studio. I want to teach you beginners today how to paint a basic, simple, but at the same time an effective water landscape, okay? And I don't want you to feel confused. I'm going to make this as simple as buggery, and you're going to think, wow, I can do that, all right? So the size of the canvas is there, and I'm also going to put the colors running up the screen. They're what I choose to use in this video. Now you can have it any color layout. You can have autumn, winter, spring, or summer season. You can have it a warm sky or a cool sky. Okay, I'm going to just go with the flow with this one. Okay, so I've got it on a landscape layout. I'll get on over here and we'll get right into it. Now with this canvas, this is cut from the roll. It's already factory primed, okay? But you can't just go putting colored paints on that. Watch this video and learn what I have and what I'm using to put on this canvas to create the painting that you saw in the opening credits, all right? So to get this prepped, we virtually have a sky half and the ground half. Now 9 times out of 10, my sky half has all the blending of colors, the different sky colors and the clouds blending in there to sit down real beautiful and lusciously, okay? So to get that to happen, I simply use, I grab these bottles from the art shop. It's different brands all over the world, but it's just bulk and it's a soft body titanium white. So, and some people might class it as a student grade or an artist grade, but I use this and it's a lot thinner. Look how thin that is. That's more than enough for that little sky there. And I'm also going to use some retarder. Now retarder, this is a product for acrylic paints because I only paint in acrylic, and this slows down the drying time. So that retarder, I'm going to mix it with this and it's going to make this paint dry slower than what it normally would. And it's going to allow me a window of opportunity to blend my sky. So over here, like I said, this is a basic, simple layout to paint, okay? Sky and the ground and our trees and whatnot in there. Now, when you're watching a tutorial like mine or someone else's, don't get confused and think it's too hard, because it bloody isn't. You can do it. I want to show you in this video just how easy it is to do a landscape with depth. Everything, we can get caught putting everything in a line like a row of soldiers at the back and in the middle of our painting, but we need to bring them forward and back from each other. So I've got that white paint now and I'm going to put that on my sky area. So I'll go a bit lower than my sky so I know I've got enough there. My sky is going to be half. Now you use whatever size canvas you can and practice everything. It's important to do your practicing before you leap into sacrificing a canvas. Now what I normally do, I'm going to come to the tip of this brush and I want to stroke this left and right till it's a nice thin even coat, and that is our acrylic paint with retarder mixed in it, a soft body. Now for a simple sky, I'm going to go for my normal blue coming down to a haze, okay? I've got cerulean blue, I've got permanent alizarin, and I've got a mid-tone grey, okay? If that's out of my tube, but if you don't have any in tube, buy some in a tube, but if you can't find it, just mix up a grey and have it as a mid-tone there. Now I want to start off with my sky, so that had the retarder in it, this one doesn't. Remember, it's acrylic paint, so it's not going to stay wet a long time like oils do. I want to put this in my putter on a brush, and I simply want to start at the top and come down. Hopefully it's going to be darker here and get lighter as we come down. So I'm just going to push it on there right across and then start bringing it down to the bottom area there. Now look, it's light here and it's light there. So crisscross it, push it, crisscross it, get it everywhere. I'm leaving that dark there. I'm not brushing too much up there. Now I'm painting upright. You might be painting on a table, so condition yourself for that. Okay, now I'll stroke that left and right like a pure gentleman. And let's see, I'm pushing some of those bands out. Okay, there is my daytime sky. It's not too bright. Any brighter than that could start looking a bit cartoony. You want things to look reasonably rural in your paintings. Now what we're going to do is put our hazy stuff in the bottom of this sky here. Now the best way to do that, I've got me grey, so I'm going to pull that out, on both sides of my brush. Look at the size of the brush I'm using. I don't need one this big, but I'm using this one because I know how to use it. Use what you know how to use. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit of this. This is quite powerful, okay? So don't put too much in there. Now that's very powerful. I've got to weaken that a bit. There we go. I want this to be about here-ish, okay? So I'll start from here. I don't want to go onto that dry bit. Push it, and now I've got it there. I don't want a hard line. I just want to gradually push that up into me blue. Make sure your brush mix, because I can just notice a heavy bit of red there. You don't want any heavy bits of red. And you just want to push that into your sky like so. And that is a reasonably realistic sky colour there. Now we're going to quickly put some basic clouds in this sky just to give it some more bullshit. Now the best way to do your clouds, in my opinion, I've got my my good white in the tube here, so I'm going to use my titanium white and a fan brush. So what I'll do is I'll normally put that on my palette there. I'm not going to use that white because it's so weak and it's got no grunt in it, and I'm going to use a fan brush. I like hog bristles because they're quite deliberate where you want to put your paint. So I'm going to stroke that onto the brush, chisel it onto there like that, and the whole brush is full of paint. Okay, this is acrylic, don't forget. I'm going to have a curving river, some grass, shrubs, and I might want a mountain here. So from that mountain, I want to get some clouds coming from a point, and I'm going to try and type of cone them. So what I'm doing, I'm stamping it on, wiggling it, giving it some beautiful body. There's one there. Now that sky, can you tell by that paint it's wet? Grab yourself a blending brush and a kitchen cloth or a rag, something just to wipe your blending brush. Because what I'm going to do now, like I said, it's acrylic. I'm not going to sit here and blend for fingerprints. I'm going to control it with the corner of my brush here. So I'm using the corner. I just want to start it off first. So watch this. I'm dancing. The sky's wet. Look at that. It's just starting to fluff and powder into that sky colour. I want to get a bit of this just like that, just so you can see. Oh, love it. I'll bring it down a bit. There we go. Now, I've got a bit on the corner of my brush. Just wipe it. There's no rush to do anything. And I want to use the corner, and I'm creating turmoil. So what I do, see there's white and there's blue there. I'll create a bit of a smear. Look at that. I've got bright and duller colours of the white cloud there. I've got a nice cresty window there. Sometimes those windows look good. You can leave them in there. Now because this is over our head, if anything, I'm trying to get a flat bum on it, just like so. The bottoms of them can be flat, like that, but the top definitely needs twisting, blending and turmoil, and you don't need a hard edge on the top, not unless it's way down into the horizon there. And this will just give us that vibe of the cloud in the distance floating over our head. I want to get some more, so I want to come from a point again, bringing out in front of that one there maybe. Should it be in front or behind? I'm not sure. Now, I want you to see what I've done here. It's important to understand the aspects of it, okay? This colour here is not the whole footprint. See, I've got open bits. When I blend it, you're going to get this vibe happening where it's brighter and duller. And that's what you want. So I want to get this pushed to the middle. It's creating that vanishing point aspect. Get the bottom there. Wipe your brush. Take your time, study clouds, practice them. Now I'm going to start blending this up in front of that other one there. Turmoil, twisting it up. There we go, we've got another beautiful, reasonable cloud in the sky. I'm just grabbing some more, and I might put some high cirrus clouds up here, which are just something like this. They can be small ones or long ones like that. But with these cirrus clouds, you do not need an edge on them. They're just a great gap filler. So this is going to fill in that gap in the sky. So I'll just simply blend it, twist it, pull it. If anything, They're wavy as well, those cirrus clouds. Look, I want to just distinguish these, so what I'm going to do is put a bit of weather into them. So I've got some more of the grey, and let's say this one here, I want to just dance across, if anything, feeling where I feel the bottoms are, but leaving it opened a lot. You don't want big blobs, just enough to finger through the cloud, like that. And I'll also do the same on this one. So this grey is going to set apart from this grey here with the alizarin in it. If we use that alizarin, which we sometimes can do for our cloud, it's going to clash. And a bit up in there. This is going to give this cloud a reasonable three-dimensional look. So now what you do, push that into the white, leaving the vibrancy of it there, but getting rid of the brush strokey edge bits, artistically blending it into that cloud body. And you will see how easy this is. There's no special way to hold your brush. Everyone would hold a brush differently. Everybody writes with a pen differently. So whatever way is going to work for you, adopt that method and use it and practice it. Okay. Okay, I've cleaned that brush. Now just to finish these clouds off, I'm going to put some yumminess in them. And what I call the yumminess is, we've done the white, we've done the grey. The yumminess is going to sit the white within the greys here and there. And this starts giving it the 3D look, because it still looks flat. So I want to make this bit here look like it's coming around and over there like that. That's in there, pushing that other cloud back. And a little bit within that grey there. Not too much, don't overdo it. I'll come along here maybe, and just a bit of yumminess in there. That'll do it. It's very easy to get caught going crazy. And the way we sat the grey down, we do this now. We're going to sit this within the grey and the first coat of white. Just gingerly using the corner of that brush there. This is quite a big brush for a little painting. You can do it. I've got smaller, different sizes of these blending brushes. Got a hair there, I'll pull him out later. Now that's it. Don't want to sit it down too much. You can even use your fingers. Pushing that down. I'll show you on this half of the cloud using my finger. Watch. I've got a rubber glove on, so it's going to act like a rubbery sort of brush. There we go. We've just set that white glare down into the weather that we had in the... So there's our clouds. They're a bit to one side because I'm going to have a mountain here. Okay, so I know the layout of this painting. That's why I put it that way. You want to keep everything central, that's totally up to you. There's our clouds. We can keep painting those sort of clouds till the cows come home, but that's enough. That can dry. You can sit down and have a cup of tea, or do what you want, have a vanilla slice. We can start getting the rest of the painting done now. I've got myself a flat brush, soaked in the water, grab the tea towel and squeeze it dry. I've got this cerulean blue, and I want to add little bits of this alizarin into it, just to grab my distant mountain colour. Now that's red blue. I want it blue blue. I don't want to. I'll put too much in it. There we go. Okay, that's good enough for a distant mountain. It's just something subtle in the background, but knowing to put it there is going to make your painting look so detailed. Coming about here, so I want a nice. Don't want it too high either. So we'll get a bit of a, I'll just get the top shape the way I want first. There we go. Just something scooting down. That's it. See how easy that was? Now I just want to block that in. Now the edge of this mountain, that edge line there, don't do it sharp because it's not in focus. It's a long way away. We're just going to pad this on there like so. So I'm just going to get the shape of this now the way I want it, fine detailing it. The edge of it's not too sharp, it's quite blurry. There we go. And then I want to get the bottom of it quite light, just adding atmosphere between you and it. So I'll just gently stroke it here and there. I'm going to grab some of this leftover craft paint. All right. That paint here is still wet. So what I want to do is, I'm going to have trees here, so I just want mainly this bit. I'm going to stamp this on where I want it, because if I brushed it on, I'll be grinding the buggery out of it, and I could be turning bullshit into snot, and we don't want to do that. So I'll turn my brush around. It's just stamping it on from the bottom here. Now I'm going to wipe this brush. Coming this way, you can just gingerly push it up into your mountain. Like so. Play with it until you're happy with it. I'm doing this very lightly too, by the way. If you want to get rid of that flat look in your mountain, pick up that first colour that we had on your flat brush and just wiggle a ridge down from that mountain. So what I'll do is I'll come and I'm going to wiggle a ridge like this, and you should see it, there we go, from that white. I can get it a little bit more darker. So I'll put a bit more red into it, right? And I just want to create a ridge coming down, adding some different values within your mountain. You don't have to do this. This is just adding those little extra details if you want. Everything's still rubbery and damp and wet. I just want to stroke this down now. It's going to be covered up with bush. See what I did there, I picked up the white and pulled back into it, so careful not to do that. Let me make the mistakes, not you. Because believe me, I make a lot of mistakes. So I'm just getting that ridge now. There we go. We've just given it a bit of dimension instead of it looking so flat and one-dimensional. There we go, I'm happy with that. As you can see there, simple. You can do it. Now I've given that a dry. What we're going to do now is put the mid-ground trees and shrubs in. They can be any sort of trees, pine trees, shrub trees, bush trees, conifers, whatever. Okay, we're going to put them across the middle, then start bringing the land forward. I'm going to have a body of water in there, so what I want to do is prep that up. So I'm just grabbing that craft white, just on another flat brush. It doesn't have to have the retarder in it. If it has, it doesn't matter. And from this corner, because it's going to be like a river coming around, so a body of water. So from about here, I just want to get this left and right there. It's not going right up to there, but I'll get it a bit beyond where it's going to go, because the river, if anything, is going to come from about here and come around and down that way. So I need this here to create the beautiful vibe of water. So we've got that there. Now I'm picking up cerulean blue on that same little flat brush I've rubbed all that white on there with, and we'll get this colour into that water as well. Why I'm putting the water on now is once the water's there, we can bring the land over it. It just makes a better marriage. So I'm going to start at the bottom, push it on, and then start coming up to where all that white was. Now that's too dark there. I'm going to scrumble it a bit. Bit more paint. Now I'm pushing it into that white now, letting that white help it blend to a beautiful blue, similar to the sky colour. Okay, and then what I want to do is put some swell shadow lines into this water, and I'll show you what I mean. You don't want it just one flat colour blue like that, where it looks like a flat curtain laying on your canvas there. What you need to do, let me get this done first, is just grab the paint on the edge of your brush like so, so as I can get something like this going in the water. I'll show you what I mean. So now I want to, the closer to you, the further apart they are. The top you go, they're pretty much, where are we? They're going to be real close. Just get this on there. Not too much, don't go too anal with it. point your brush up a bit. I mean, it looks a bit scratchy and iffy at the moment, but now I'm going to wipe that brush, just simply wipe it. And now I want to just gently pull them through and waterify them like that. Just gently. That white underneath that we put on first has allowed all this to happen. Now I'm grabbing the brush on its edge. See how I pulled that a bit longer? You can manipulate them and really fine tune them. Okay? And that's just going to give us some shimmer and, you know, different values of lights and darks hitting the surface of our water there. Now I've given this a dry just so you know what's going on in my head. I'm going to pick up my dark colour now and just map in what's going in here next, just so you're aware of what's happening and you're not scratching your head thinking, where's he going with this? I want you to know what's happening. And I'll grab this permanent alizarin, mix the two together. I'm making a very dark colour here, very dark colour. Yeah, she's really strong. So first of all, me land is going to come from about here and all the way up to about here, okay? So there's me land and me river, boom. That land is going to be pretty much straight across like that, okay? Maybe a bit there. And then on top of that, I'm going to have shrubs. I'm just doing the tops of them. I want to leave some of that bottom sky there. I don't want to like kill too much of it. So I'm going to pretty much fill all this up with shrubs and trees, just so you know where I'm going. And this very middle bit I want to keep open. That's where they're going to come down. So there. And all the way up here somewhere. Okay. And then this bit here is pretty much going to come higher than that and around like so. And then this will have a footpath in it. I can manipulate this to get it looking a bit more in perspective with the painting. So now what I'm going to do is just simply block this in. What you can do is get your brush upside down and get that edge of the bank. You can keep the bits that you jut out level. Turn your brush around. The bits in the sky can be a bit openish, but down here I want real solid. Bits and bobs I can create bushes with. Now, given all this dark colour a dry, I want to start with my bushes and the furthest bit of land before I bring this forward. Now down here I've got green oxide and viridian green, so I'm going to grab me viridian green with a bit of this oxide just to get a dark value of it, just to lightly get my darker values of greens in and use this oxide green to highlight it. So I'm using a filbert brush. Now the colour that's on here is already got depth colours in it as well, so we don't need too much of this. We just need to go beyond our purple there and bring in pockets where you feel you want dark bits. And I'm only coming down to, where are we, about somewhere around here somewhere. So it's going to be quite dark there. Because I don't know, in my shrubs, I feel I like to have at least, if they're going to be a green shrub, I feel I like to have at least 2 values of that green. That's just my preference. You might be different. Do your flavour, your style. And what I'm doing here, I'm going to gradually point them into the middle of the painting, getting them hairy. Just turn my light meter up a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Because the green oxide's going to shape this. This looks a bit mumble-jumbly at the moment, so excuse the mess, as we say. Okay, give that a dry. Now I just want to pick up the green oxide. Now why I dried this is so this colour will stick. Otherwise it'll hit into that other colour that I put on there and turn into, as we call it, mud. So now that first colour green I'm put on, I'm leaving it there, but coming around with this. And hopefully this is a reasonable shrub for a beginner to put into their painting. Now keep your colours in case you have to come back. Like I might have to come back with darks to put some darks under this. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how we're faring along. Way at the top, way at the top. There we go. Feather into those dark bits. If it's your first time here and you like what you see, give me the thumbs up, give me a comment, tell me who you are, where you're from, say hello, and I'll say hello back. Okay, and this is where you stop now. You can look at it, analyse it, even sit down for 5, 10, 15 minutes, have a cup of tea, and work out where you're going. Does it need more lights? Does it need more darks? And so forth like that. Now, I'd like to have some darkness just along the bottom and filtering up a little bit just from analysing it. I've got some perylene green here. Now, if you don't have perylene green, it's very dark. Just grab a forest green or one of your darkest greens you've got and add a bit of black with it for now. And we want to get this to create the darkness everywhere. So I'll get a lot of it off the brush first. And I want to kind of gingerly filter up there. And like I said, keep your colours, you might need them to go backwards and forwards. When I put the foreground on, I might need to come a little bit more, but this is going to be the darkness. That's going to come in front later, so I'll just get this here for now. Because this is going to be, this lower half is going to be lawn, grass, with no shrubs. So I'm just stroking it along. I can leave little bits of that purpley colour there, but get most of this in there. And I want it filtering up into me shrubs there as I go along. So I'm just going to gradually get it against the bank here. You want darkness against your bank. You don't want it bright down there. Because then we're going to bring lawn in front of it. I love doing lawn for some reason. Get some up there, because that green oxide and maybe the other colour green, I might just have to filter it down a bit. I'll show you what I mean. Get some of this up in there. Look at the darks do. While I've got the perylene green here, I'm just going to quickly darken this up. Okay, I'm just going to stroke it the way I want it to play. There we go. All right, I've dried it and I'm just grabbing the green ochre again, green oxide, and just where I've put all that black, I'm just sharpening this back over it again because it dulled some of the edges of this down. So this will create the depth, setting that black back. And if you need some of the other viridian green shucked in there, put it in there as well. I'm grabbing the yellow ochre. Now I'm using it neatly, meaning nothing's mixed with it, it's neat. And I want to scratch in my path so as I can bring everything over that. And while I'm using it neatly, I can put some lighter or duller areas in it as well. So I want this kind of coming, where are we, about there-ish. So let's come about there. Now that's too fat, that brush is not working. So I'm going to simply put it down and grab myself a flat brush. Around here. Now I want to scrape it like this. That dark colour is dry, it needs to be dry, otherwise it'll mud up. And if you're pretty new to painting and wondering what mud up means, it means the paints all mix together and go a dark, yucky colour and it just looks like mud. So here we go, we're getting a footpath, gradually coming a little bit wider It's kind of combed at the edges. Now I'm picking up some more because see how it's dull. I'm not too good here. I'm thickening it up. Now my lines here, if anything, are going downwards. I want to keep them in cahoots with the horizon line. That way your roads and bits and bobs won't look too crooked. Okay. And this is very easy to do. You can do it. Now dry every coat before you add more. So I'm simply going to grab my titanium white over here. Now when you do this sort of stuff, it doesn't have to be fully mixed. It can be marbly, meaning you got all those lines in it. So I've just added a bit of white with that. Let's see. I just want bits of it getting hit with light. You got the darks there, and then you got the lights, and they just both complement each other, whether it's in a footpath or the trees or in a mountain. There we go. I'm happy with the vibe of that. Now out here, I want to create me lawn and then bring this one in front of it, okay? So I've got cadmium yellow medium, and I'm just going to use the green oxide. I'm making a yellow-green here. Some bits are going to be right in front of that. Watch this. Right in front of it, and some bits will be not. All the way across here. Let it wave up and down, don't worry. Boom. Look at that. See those darks, how they push them back? Once we start bringing this forward, we want a nice dark bit against our water. So I'm going to make me lawn now just by stroking it left and right, and it's a different colour green. There we go, keeping that little dark edge against your water there. I'm chiseling the brush up as I lift the paint up so it's nice and sharp. There we go. Get something back up in there so it looks like it's going deep in there. It's not just a flat straight line. I do want to grab the perylene green, the very dark one, and I just want to see my bank here. I just want to make sure that is dark. So very thin out here, very thin. There we go. And as we come around, we can kind of control the dark edge of our bank and then appropriately bring the other colour over it to the exact amount that we want. Because if this isn't dark there, it's going to look a bit wrong. So I'm going in cahoots with the horizon line. Just creating some dark depth. Get the brush strokes finished left and right, not on the shape of the river. Okay, now that's the colour I just used. I want to grab some of that because I need some for the other side, so I don't want to destroy all of it. And I want to create a highlighted version of that now. So I'm grabbing some more of the cadmium yellow medium, just enough to highlight that a lot brighter than what it is. So I'll start here, and what I want to do is just kind of find areas and just lace gingerly over that dark bit, like so. Leaving that first green, good pockets of that as well, and just gingerly step over that dark bit a little bit and bring bands of this. I want to look in my monitor just to see how it's faring, and that's okay. You can do that. That's a simple, great, effective. See why I put it there? It's big and blobby. I don't want it like that. Coming from that edge and then down. And we're just creating simple, effective lawn. Golf course quality, of course. not too much. It's so easy to get carried away. Now over here, we want to bring this piece of lawn in front. This is going to come in front of that, so we can work our way. This is just that green oxide again. I'm going to work from the edge, come over that. That's where I want it to be, and come right up there, boom. So, and now with our footpath, we want to chisel this brush up, and we're going to bring this, leaving the dark there. So I'll just start near the footpath first. Is my camera picking that spot up? Yes. I want to trace this to the footpath, just like so, keeping it flat, leaving a bit of dark there, and then I'll start getting it a fuller colour. But you need it broken up near the footpath, so you got that depth, so it doesn't look floating. And then out here we can just scratch it in. Knowing where to have those darks just helps your painting look more realistic. And it's up to you to evolve and create and adopt your habits from here on in. I'm just showing you what you can put together as a basic, simple layout. I want to have a look at my monitor. Okay, now I'm looking at it. That dark against the side of the footpath is doing its job. It's got depth. Got that. I want to grab this colour again just to highlight it. Now dry your work if it's wet so it won't mud up again. I haven't dried my work, so maybe I should. I'm going to come up here. I want this pushing that back bit back. So it looks like there's distance. Right onto the water's edge there. This one's not going to have darkness in it because we can't see the side of the water hitting this land. And I want to gradually bring this flat. It's there. I want to gradually bring it flat when it's meeting the path, just to get the dimensions right, perspective, so it doesn't look like your path is going up to the sky. It's kind of looking the way it should look, hopefully. I'll have a look at my monitor and see where I'm faring at the moment. That's okay, it's looking thick and luscious. The guy that mows this lawn, he loves his ride-on lawnmower. He does it every Tuesday of every month. Just dingle it over that dark bit there. Some of it can go just that little bit beyond. And the way you put this on will shape this land. If I put a bit of a hill here, it might make it look like there's a bit of a hill there, see, like that. But just be careful doing that. Make sure you know how to do that. If you don't, just keep it all flat. Nothing wrong with flat lawn. Flat lawn, you can lay on it and read a book. And we've got all our depth highlights there. Now I just did a bit of analysing and I'm going to show you, look, this bit here is okay, but this here is coming down and a bit up, so it's looking a bit wrong to me. So what I want to do is just grab the dark colour again, and then I want to sit some of that down on it. So to do that, I need to put the darks there first, just to where I feel I need some of that. There we go. You need the darks there. If I just put the lights there, it would look a bit weird. Okay, now I'm just grabbing some of the Viridian green, just mixing with that and a bit of this. I want some kind of highlighted value there, but sort of a darker highlighted value. Let's start here. So I want to start from the bush and bring it down, but leaving that dark there. See? And we'll have a look once I've finished just how the difference is before I started adding this repair to what it looks like now. I'm looking in my monitor and it kind of looks like different light hitting this lower part of the bushes here, which I quite like. Could probably have a little bit dancing up there. So I'm kind of blending down, not just doing it here. What I mean by blending down is putting it here where I want it, but also tethering it up into that there so it doesn't look like, it's kind of like a blending. Now what I'm going to do now, if you're brave you can do this, otherwise you can leave it where it is. I'm going to put a big foreground tree just popping into the side of the frame here. So what I want to do is grab that perylene green that I had, and let's say mixing it with the Viridian green. Now I want this kind of, I don't know, where's my mountain there? I want this kind of there and bits dancing over the painting there, coming along. I want a gap between this and what I'm putting on. I don't want it to be all mushed together. So be aware of where you need gaps in your stuff. Coming along there. These are kind of looking down at us, these leaves. These ones are on that angle, but these are kind of a different angle. Now I'm doing it the darkest colour first, and I want some bits open. I'm going to leave some bits open. I'm grabbing a lot more of the perylene green in there because I want a lot of this really dark now, real solid there, but start leaving some windows within it, joining it to that edge bit that I put there, because I didn't want it just black perylene green. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to dry this colour. We'll put the trunk in and then we'll highlight it. Now, if giving it a dry, analyse it. You want this feeling like it's coming down over us, okay? It's not in the background on its side like that. So I want to try and get that. That's why I've shaped these like that. Now I just want to grab a simple script liner and we're going to put in a trunk, what supports that. So I've just got burnt umber for now. And let's try a bit of this. It doesn't even have to be mixed. See the colour we're getting? And I'll start, my branch is going to come from about here, okay? Well, that's a nice colour, woody looking branch. So I'm going to come, let's say here, I'm going to twist it as I go. Now look at it, I don't want it breaking up. The more you play with this, the more you're going to ruin that natural look of it, okay? So see there, look at that. Look what that white did. Beautiful. Anyway, I'm getting carried away here. I'm getting excited. Tethering out over that angle there, but I've got to twist it. And I want to come below there. So what I'm going to do is quickly put it on, and then off camera, I'll try and do it all on camera. Get it the right thickness. I don't want it thicker out here than what it is back there. I've got to thicken this area up here a bit more. And like I said, I want this a little bit fatter, just so it looks in perspective. Now I've finished my trunk, I've given it a dry. Now look at that, we've got the dark colour, we've got the trunk against it. It looks flat at the moment. Now we're going to bring it to life and make it look dimensional, okay? Come down here, and down here we've got the Viridian green again. Put a little bit of that in it just to soften it up, but we want the Viridian green, and we're going to just put the second colour of green and then highlight it. So this is where we can come in front of our trunk, sinking it back, leaving the darks there. Don't cover all that dark up. Cover your branch a little bit. So this colour I'm using is the Viridian green and the green oxide a little bit mixed. Just so as I'm getting that vibe, set that. Picking up the green oxide. And I want to bring this right in front now. to come all the way in front of that there, yeah. Leaving some of that darks there to depthify it. Now careful, I feel I might be going too much. I just got to learn to stop. That bit there, I just grabbed the green, Viridian green, and stamped back over that to kill that bright bit down. I just did it too much, don't like it. What I want a lot of beginners to know is they can grab the highlighter colour and do a lot of little individual leaves, but scatter them around in a natural way if you can. And this adds, the more you do this and understand it, it can start adding a sense of realism to your foliage. This is close, you can see it, so I want a bit of detail here. Come from off your painting and then on it. Cluster them in a way where you're trying to get that natural look about them. Just off the tree there. I'm just doing this as an example in bits and bobs here and there, just so you can adopt this method if you want. Dropping over the sky. I'm just looking, and I might put lots of little birds here. Now these are my patrons. Big school of patrons there. These are my patron members there. They're in my painting now, and they're just all flying out. They're just small here because it's a small painting, but hopefully this will look like some birds. Let me have a look. Yeah, so there's our patrons flying within the scenery there. Just other little details I'm doing here, just gingerly getting little bits of twigs hanging off the very edge of the clusters of branches here. Sometimes you get these dried up twigs there. I'm just going to sign this and then I'll pull the tape off and reveal it. And I want to thank all my patrons up there for supporting my channel every month, and also the YouTube members. If you want to become a YouTube member, hit the join tab, become a member. And patrons get access to extra content of mine. They are now getting content that is only exclusive to them and will never be to YouTube as well. Need to get some reflection in the water here, so I'm going to grab my filbert. I want to dance along here into the black and just gingerly pull it down, getting some darker. So I'm putting it on and then pulling it down, okay? I feel I can get it done with this. So we're pretty much just joining it to that dark, joining it to it. I forgot to put this in, so I'm quickly doing it now. Otherwise my river will look like it's floating. And pretty much right off the painting there. Okay, I've dried it. I'm grabbing the green oxide just so as I can get some colours here. Take a lot of it off the brush and pull it into this black, just like so. So you leave a darkness there for the black edge again, don't go right to the edge. And we're pretty much putting this on and pulling it down. Grab the cadmium yellow medium, find the right value. I'm putting it next to it so I can see the difference. I don't want it too bright, but I want it enough so it's going to stand apart. I've got a flat brush and I've got some glaze. I've got a little bit of titanium white in my brush. I don't need too much. And I want to glaze that, just so as when it dries, it'll dry see-through-y. And this will be my water surface to sink the reflections down. So I simply want to caress it against the black there. This is the water hitting the bank. Let it break up a bit. Sink. See these bits of blue we put there? We can follow them, and you're sinking the reflections down into the water. Find the reflection, go right over it. And just to finish it off, I just grabbed some of the pure white, but you don't have to do this if you don't want it. You just gingerly bounce it across like I've done. You can see what I've done here. And I've just done that, creating bits that are getting glistened with maybe a bit of extra light. Be careful to stop, don't overdo it. Okay, there we go. That's not too shabby. We've got a simple but effective landscape or landscape/waterscape or a bit of a mountain in there. We've got some distance happening. We've got foreground, pushing things backwards and forwards from each other. Knowing what to do, I know you can do it. Well, that was great, simple, effective and exciting. I hope you liked that. And if you did, you tell your friends if you like what I'm doing. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Have a look at this other video of mine as well. Goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.